Today's news highlights. Date May 27, 2025. News highlights. Due to the lack of production capacity, it is rumored that the Japanese chemical manufacturer Asahi KCI will suspend the supply of PSPI, a key material for AI chips, to some customers, causing the industry to worry about the disruption of the AI supply chain. PSPI is an irreplaceable material for advanced packaging, which is used in multi-layer wiring for wafer packaging, affecting the supply chain of TSMC and ASE Group. With the surge in AI demand, the shortage of supply is likely to expand, although TSMC may be given priority to supply, but the layout of manufacturers such as ASE may be impacted, and the stability of the overall AI industry chain will be tested. News highlights. Moody's downgrade of U.S. credit ratings, coupled with poor bidding for long-day government bonds and the passage of Trump's tax cuts, led to a rise in U.S. bond interest rates and a continued decline in bond ETF prices, with long-term U.S. Treasury ETFs falling the most. However, investors took advantage of the dip, and the total number of beneficiaries increased to nearly 1.98 million. Experts believe that although the short-term volatility is large, it is still attractive for investment under the expectation of interest rate cuts, and it is recommended to lay out in batches and reduce costs. Some USD-denominated bond ETFs are also suitable for hedging US dollar holders. News highlights. Citi Securities is optimistic about the prospects of Taiwan's semiconductors, naming the AI Big Three TSMC, MediaTek, and ASE as buy ratings, with target prices of 1,100 yuan, 1,600 yuan, and 162 yuan respectively. TSMC benefits from the growth of 2nm process, CoWoS technology, and capital expenditure, and its operating outlook is optimistic. Although MediaTek is affected by exchange rates and demand in the short term, it is driven by 5G and AI applications in the long term. ASE has a clear long-term growth trend due to the continued increase in demand for advanced packaging, strong revenue and capital expenditure momentum. News highlights. With tax season approaching, the IRS reminds families of common mistakes such as mistakenly believing that spouse's income can be reported separately, filing separately when not eligible, omitting to report dependent income or reporting deceased relative allowances, and filing separate tax returns for minor children who have earned income. Violators will not only be required to pay back taxes, but may also be subject to fines. The correct declaration should be filled in together, truthfully state the information of the spouse, and attach the relevant certificates of dependent relatives in accordance with the regulations, so as to legally save taxes and avoid losses. News highlights. In recent years, China has invested in AI development, and Fudan University has developed the Socioverse model, which uses X and Xiaohongshu user data to create tens of millions of virtual avatars to simulate election and consumer behavior, and predict the accuracy of the US presidential election with an accuracy rate of more than 90%. China has even used similar technology to conduct a simulated united front against Taiwan, combining Taiwan's open materials with platforms such as Douyin and Xiaohongshu to collect information to strengthen its united front strategy. Experts have called on Taiwan to establish the concept of sovereign data and develop data use and cross-border regulations to prevent security risks. News highlights. Rogers, a former Fed advisor, has been accused of leaking secrets to China about economic data and policy information. He came into contact with Chinese intelligence agents posing as students, and accepted high-paying teaching positions and monetary payments to deliver materials at hotels under the guise of teaching. The U.S. Congress has long warned that China is infiltrating the Fed under the cover of academic cooperation, and the pattern of this case is consistent with the warning. Another State Department leak case shows that China is waging an interagency espionage war against the U.S. government, covering both financial and diplomatic fields, posing a major national security threat. News highlights. The Taiwan Academy of Economics released the business data for April, and the business climate of the manufacturing, service, and construction industries declined month after month, showing that the prosperity was weak. President Zhang Jianyi pointed out that the weakening of Trump's tariff effect in the second half of the year, coupled with the thawing of the 410 billion yuan special budget and the budget of the Taiwan authorities, will drive domestic demand and investment, and is expected to maintain 3% economic growth. In terms of the housing market, home buying confidence has reached a new low, and it is not easy to recover in the short term. The trend of the new Taiwan dollar is affected by the trend of the US dollar and foreign capital, and the Federal Reserve may postpone interest rate cuts, and the room for US dollar depreciation is limited. News highlights. The KMT presidential election will be held in September, and Zhu Liluan said he looks forward to a smooth handover. Taichung Mayor Liu Zaihuan is loud, and Xiao Susan, executive director of the Ma Ying-shou Foundation, believes that those who are interested in running for the presidency should take over as chairman to facilitate integration, otherwise Zhu Liluan may still be re-elected. For his part, Lo called for unity in the face of the challenge of the general recall, stressing that everyone will have the wisdom to elect leaders. Su pointed out that the outcome of the general recall will affect the morale of the party and the layout of future elections. News highlights. Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, shared his love story with his wife, Lori, revealing that the two bonded over electrical engineering classes in college, and Huang invited Lori to study together every Sunday with his professional ability, which successfully impressed her. Huang humorously said that he would say "I love you, honey" to his wife every day to show his deep affection. When Su Xiudong, chairman of Far Eastern, persuaded him to wear a new jacket, he laughed and said that he had to get his wife's consent, revealing the sweet tacit understanding between husband and wife. News highlights tariff wars have impacted global industries, and corporate executives are making every effort to prepare for the war, but young employees often have no sense of community difficulties due to the lack of organizational identity and emotional binding, and are prone to form disagreement. In order to avoid brain drain and fragmentation, leaders should adopt 3 strategies. First, transform into a challenging task-oriented approach to stimulate young people's sense of engagement. The second is to open participation in decision-making and enhance the sense of responsibility and belonging. The third is to provide flexible management and immediate incentives to reduce overtime pressure. Only by attaching importance to people's hearts can enterprises tide over the tariff crisis together and turn the crisis into an opportunity. News highlights the People's Party Legislative Yuan Caucus pointed out that Taiwan, as a global semiconductor powerhouse, is facing the rising demand for electricity, and NVIDIA chairman Jensen Huang suggested that nuclear energy should be invested, but the DPP is still stuck in the known era of resisting nuclear energy, hindering Taiwan's energy transition and industrial development. The People's Party criticized the DPP for stigmatizing nuclear energy, opposing the extension and resumption of nuclear power, blocking the referendum, and calling for respecting the will of the people, making a joint decision on Taiwan's energy future, promoting the parallel development of nuclear energy and green energy, and ensuring Taiwan's competitiveness and energy security. News highlights in 2023, a total of 1,064 companies in Taiwan issued sustainability reports, of which about 60% obtained third-party assurance or assurance, mainly using the accounting firm ISAE 3000 Limited Assurance and AA 1000 Medium Assurance standards. Affected by regulations, the food and financial industries are confident that the access rate is high, and other industries are more likely to choose guarantee services. The confidence and assurance of the sustainability report can help enhance the credibility of the information, but about 40% of enterprises still do not have access to the relevant services. In the future, it is expected that enterprises will upgrade the level of assurance and enhance the quality of sustainable information in response to the new International Sustainability Assurance Standard, ISSA 5000, that will come into effect in 2026. News highlights the U.S. Department of the Interior revoked the previous order to stop the Statoil Empire Wind offshore wind power project on the 21st, and the project is expected to resume construction. Located off the coast of New York, the project plans to build 54 wind turbines to power about 500,000 homes and is valued at $2.5 billion. Previously, the Trump administration, which opposes the wind industry, had ordered a shutdown of work, saying plans had not been adequately assessed. New York Governor Hochul thanked Trump for his support, emphasizing the importance of the project for jobs and clean energy. The two sides also reached a consensus on the construction of natural gas pipelines, indicating the adjustment of energy policies. News highlights the Yuchi lure frog, a member of the family of endangered red frogs endemic to Taiwan, was identified as a new species, which was significantly different from the Japanese Ryukyu population in terms of genetics, body size, and call. The frog species has a narrow distribution, with only about 300 to 700 individuals, and when breeding, it builds pot-shaped mud nests to protect its eggs, and is highly sensitive to human interference. The research team used a specimen preserved in 1984 as a type specimen and named it after the discoverer, Professor Chan Sai Huang. The conservation unit has started a project to maintain its habitat and set up an exhibition at the Taipei Zoo to promote it. This discovery highlights the richness and uniqueness of Taiwan's biodiversity. News highlights in recent years, China has stepped up its offensive and intimidation against Taiwan, and the United States has paid close attention to and supported Taiwan's defense. Taiwan's National Army is actively improving its combat strength, and the Air Force has completed the upgrade of 140 F-16Vs, and will receive 66 Block 70 fighters next year. The Army will receive all 108 M1A2T combat vehicles and equip 29 Seahorse rocket systems to enhance long-range strike capabilities. The rifle was replaced with the new T-112. The Navy's first self-made submarine, the Haiken, has not yet completed sea trials. Experts stressed that Taiwan's air defense capability is a top priority, and it is necessary to strengthen the overall defense to deal with the threat of the Communist Army. News highlights today, 27th, the temperature in Taiwan has risen, about 30 degrees Celsius in the north and 35 degrees Celsius in the south, and there will be local short showers in the mountains in the afternoon. Meteorological expert Lindeen pointed out that the first wave of strong plum rain fronts this year will begin to approach on the afternoon of the 28th, and the front will pass through on the 29th and bring heavy rainfall. The combination of the southern monsoon, abundant moisture, and the plum rain front will increase the risk of heavy rainfall, landslides and flooding, especially in the mountainous areas of central and southern China. The front moved south to the Base Strait on the 30th, and the rain slowed down. News highlights: Lu Ruying appeared in the song ordering session of the Shan Tao concert on the 24th. A little girl originally ordered the song Honest, but her sister grabbed the microphone and sang later. Lu accompanied her sister to sing after seeing her sister crying, and proposed to sing with her sister again, but because of the band's misunderstanding, she sang later, which caused laughter and internet bullying controversy. Renee Lau's studio apologized, pointing out that the team had miscommunicated, emphasizing that it would never ignore the children's emotions and had reviewed to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. Lu Ruying herself also responded in the community, explaining the situation at the time and apologizing, while fans said that she had tried her best to calm the atmosphere at the scene. News highlights: Yu Wenzheng, a 78-year-old man in the Three Gorges, died 3 and injured 12 in a high-speed collision on the 17th, and is still being treated in the intensive care unit. A netizen who claimed to be Yu Wenzhen's daughter posted a post denying that he deliberately hit someone, criticized the netizen for rashly sentencing him to death, and demanded justice to be remarkable. However, netizens revealed that the account was a suspected fake account that stole other people's photos, and multiple accounts published the same article, which caused online doubts and bombardment. The police said that the part that was not relevant to the case could not be verified. News highlights: Kaohsiung Male Model Shop X Club is suspected of employing a 16-year-old girl as a coder assistant, and the girl was forced to sign 2 promissory notes totaling 600,000 yuan, and the actual loan was only 46,000 yuan. The girl's father criticized the store for not verifying her age, and let her minor daughter work and sign tickets, worried that her daughter would be forced to go to Penghu to pay off her debts. The police have intervened in the investigation to clarify the issues of underage employment and forced signing of cashier's checks, and are informing the relevant officers to explain. News highlights: in order to form the strongest Chinese team in the Classic in March next year, Taiwan actively lobbied the Taiwanese and American mixed-race players Kzi Carroll and Fei Zhe Fitz hard to participate in the competition. Both mothers are Taiwanese and are eligible for the Classics. Carroll has been in a stellar performance with the Sidewinders this season, with 15 hits and 9 thieves, while Fired has moved to the Warriors, with a batting average of 56 but willing to join the Chinese team. Cai Kikang, president of the secondary vocational school, will go to the United States in July and personally invite the two to wear the jerseys of the Chinese team, hoping to enhance the team's combat strength. News highlights: socialite Guan Ying recently celebrated the 10th birthday of her eldest daughter Cici and held a dream party, inviting Zheng Xinying, Lin Zilei and other friends to bring their daughters to have fun, and the scene was lively. The theme of the party is purple, and 112 gacha capsules are prepared, including a variety of popular dolls and accessories, so that children will be pleasantly surprised. Guan Ying revealed that the cake was a fake fondant cake, which was environmentally friendly, and emphasized that although the party was luxurious, it had conveyed the right values to her daughter. In contrast, the son's birthday is simpler, and only a few friends are invited to celebrate at home. News highlights: in 2020, Lin Ruijin, a senior student of the Department of Asset Management of National Taiwan University, founded the dark web drug trading platform Stealth Market, operating under the pseudonym Pharaoh, and matched more than 3 billion yuan in illegal transactions within 3 years, covering heroin, cocaine, and other drugs. The platform is e-commerce designed and uses cryptocurrencies to secure anonymous transactions, making it popular with drug buyers and sellers. Lin Nan was arrested by the FBI at the New York airport and pleaded guilty, and now cooperates with the U.S. side to confess to being an accomplice, and the sentence has been postponed until September. Taiwan's prosecutors have seized more than 200 million yuan of his mansion and assets, and continue to trace related criminal networks. News highlights: at the end of April, Keelung recruited talents, and the technology and retail industries provided more than 1,000 job vacancies, and Zhuangbei Guide Passenger Transport offered a monthly salary of 80,000 yuan and an annual salary of more than 1 million to recruit bus drivers, but only 3 people applied, reflecting a serious shortage of workers. The Highway Bureau of the Ministry of Communications pointed out that there is a shortage of 662 people in the National Highway Passenger Transport and 1,791 people in urban passenger transport. Hsinchu and Meili have increased the subsidy of 10,000 yuan per month for driving, and Zhuangbei has also raised the freight rate and raised the salary to about 80,000 yuan per month, providing bonuses and accommodation benefits, but the industry is still worried about the aging driving manpower and the difficulty of recruiting new blood, and the problem of labor shortage has not been alleviated. News highlights: the recent rise in COVID-19 cases is mainly due to the prevalence of the highly transmissible NB.1.8.1 variant, low vaccination rates and the continued mutation of the virus. The symptoms of the new crown are similar to those of the flu, such as sore throat, cough, fever, etc., but the sore throat of the new crown is more abnormal, and there may be no fever in mild cases. Experts recommend rapid screening to identify the type of virus so that appropriate treatment can be given. Vaccines and antivirals are still effective, and additional vaccinations are available for those over 65 years old and high-risk groups. Household rapid screening reagents have been sold in supermarkets and pharmacies, and relevant information can be found at the CDC and local health bureaus. News highlights: when French President Emmanuel Macron visited Vietnam recently, his wife Bridget was suspected of pushing him in public, which attracted attention from the outside world. Macron said on Monday that the two were just joking and downplaying rumors of feud. He emphasized that some madmen have recently distorted the content of the video to spread false news. Officials at the Palace of the Élysée called it an intimate, relaxed interaction between husband and wife. Previously, Macron also refuted social media rumors about his suspected cocaine during his visit to Ukraine, emphasizing that he was just taking tissue paper. News highlights sugar substitutes are low to no-calorie sweeteners that replace traditional sugars, which can trick the tongue and brain into feeling sweet, but the body cannot break it down effectively and may trigger more hunger. Family medicine physician Lee Sixian pointed out that artificial sugar substitutes such as aspartame and saccharin have many side effects, may even increase the risk of cancer, and do not help weight loss, so the World Health Organization does not recommend their use. In contrast, natural sugar substitutes such as erythritol, monk fruit, allulose, and stevia are healthier, have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, are less prone to glycemic and have fewer side effects, but they should still be consumed in moderation to avoid excessive health effects. News highlights some netizens posted on the forum that people's word habits can be divided into unexpected and unexpected, and users of the two factions usually do not mix these two words. The post sparked a heated debate, with many people finding themselves and their friends and family clearly preferring one over the other, and couples often belong to different factions and use them differently. Netizens have shared their interesting experience of querying chat records, believing that this classification has a high accuracy rate and has become a hot topic of discussion recently. News highlights artists Nato, Lin Yuji, and Yi, Chen Yi, have been in love for nearly 10 years, and their marriage proposal was successful last year, and a wedding banquet was held on the 25th. For many years, his partner Aken served as the host, and fondly recalled the difficult journey of Nato's cerebral hemorrhage stroke in 2022 on the community, and thanked Yi for giving Nato a new life. At the wedding banquet, not only did his cousin Ho Yi give a speech of encouragement, but Tao Jingying also sang to help. Ken was moved to say that Nato was able to return to the fluorescent curtain, all thanks to Yi's companionship and support, and the brotherhood deeply touched everyone. News highlights Song Hye-kyo recently shared a photo with Fendi creative director Kim Jones and others on Instagram, wearing a black long blazer with a white tee and jeans, handsome short hair and transparent framed glasses, showing the aura of a domineering female president, subverting the gentle image of the past, and attracting enthusiastic responses from fans. She also appeared in a milk tea-colored suit, soft and rigid, showing a changeable style. The two sets of looks are completely different but equally outstanding, proving once again that Song Hye-kyo is not only a face ceiling, but also a fashion icon. News highlights when Liverpool held a Premier League victory parade on the 26th. A 53-year-old man driving a black car suddenly rushed into the crowd on the S-shaped route, resulting in more than 40 injuries, at least 2 of them seriously. The footage shows the vehicle deliberately rushing towards the dense crowd, and the scene is chaotic. Police said the suspect was a local man who had been arrested and was not considered a terrorist attack for the time being, and the case was still under investigation. British Prime Minister Sker expressed condolences, saying that the picture was shocking. News highlights Su Shihua, a city councillor of the Democratic Progressive Party, revealed that the North Minshung community was suspected of being filmed by a Chinese live broadcaster, which caused controversy. The police found that 52-year-old women surnamed Liu and 25-year-old women surnamed Dai were involved in the case, and reported to the tribunal and transferred them to the Beijing Procuratorate respectively, which was the first case in the country. Depending on the judicial outcome, the city will assess whether there has been a violation of the children's law, which can result in a fine of up to 600,000 yuan. The person involved in the case argued that he only shared his life, but the parents complained that he ignored the dissuasion and forcibly broadcast the live broadcast, which aroused social concern. News highlights the closing ceremony of the 2025 Shuangbei World Prime Age Games will be held at 7 p.m. on Friday, May 30th at the new Taipei City Art Museum, with the theme of We Are the World, combining music, light and shadow, fireworks and architectural light sculptures. The cast includes Grass Tun Sai, Kashiwa, DJ Ray Ray, Drag Queen Nifia, etc., and the finale is expected to be climaxed by Energy with Friday Night and the new song Go Now. The event will be broadcast on multiple platforms for free, and the ceremony will be broadcast simultaneously, inviting the public to participate in a visual and musical feast. News highlights after Huida announced that its Taiwan headquarters were located in T17 and T18, the dispute over illegal land expropriation was detonated. The Self-Rescue Association revealed that the K municipal government failed to review and evaluate in accordance with the law during his tenure, and officials were even more suspicious of technical departure and illegal voting, which led to the accidental demolition of the tentative monument Phinyang residence. A number of non-voting people participated in the deliberations in violation of regulations, which eventually led to the demolition of the unlisted historic building in Phinyangju. According to the Conflict of Interest Avoidance Law, a fine should be imposed, but no punishment was imposed, which has raised questions about the improper procedures and cultural protection of the municipal government. News highlights National Taiwan University recently had a dormitory counselor involved in campus sexual equality, which aroused social concern. However, Ye Bingcheng, the political secretary of the Ministry of Education, accidentally leaked the personal information of the victim students because he published screenshots related to the case on his personal social platform, and even though he deleted the article and apologized afterwards, it still detonated public criticism. In response, the Ministry of Education said that Ye had taken leave of absence and suspended all duties, and set up an investigation team to investigate, and the Education and Culture Committee of the Legislative Yuan also asked the Ministry of Education to publish the results of the investigation within 1 month. News highlights Zhang Yuanxiang, the former director of the Keelung City Civil Affairs Department, was involved in inquiring about citizens' personal information through the household administration system to assist the Kuomintang in recalling, which caused controversy. City Councillor Cheng Manting asked Mayor Tse Kwok-lung to apologize when questioned by the general question, and Tse immediately bowed and apologized, admitting that the city government had not supervised properly, and stressed that he would cooperate with the follow-up investigation and take responsibility. 2 household officers involved in the case have applied for resignation. Zheng Wenting said that although the apology was a little late, she showed a responsible attitude and hoped that the city government would prevent similar cases in the future and rebuild the trust of citizens. News highlights YouTuber Crowdweight member Jianing broke up with Andy, and Jianing revealed 3 key points in the second video of The Truth, clarifying that he never controlled the channel's revenue, accusing Andy of tampering with account information and concealing the facts, and exposing his multiple infidelities during their relationship, having relationships with multiple women, and claiming to have audio evidence. Netizens condensed the key points in 3 sentences: "I am also innocent, what about the channel that said it was good, you are unfaithful and consume me," which caused heated discussions. News highlights in the face of the third phase of the recall, Fu Kunking of the Kuomintang frequently traveled back and forth between Taipei and Hualien, actively ran the itinerary to save the people's hearts, and even personally stood on the tour bus to publicize his political achievements and send the car to build momentum, which was described by the locals as being more diligent than the election. In the local fan special, the last time Fu swept the street so desperately was when he faced Xiao Maikan 5 years ago. More than 30,000 signatures have been submitted by recall groups, and the public has been calling on voters to stay the course and complete the first successful recall in Hualien's history. News highlights Kenting Street recently reported a consumer dispute. A netizen ordered 3 shots to settle for 14,000 yuan. The industry clarified that the consumer actually ordered 76 shots for a friend to drink, and his wife checked, emphasizing that the prices are clearly marked. The Pingtung County government formed an inspection team to inspect 22 bartending stalls in Kenting, and found that most of the stores did not indicate their capacity and warnings, and only partially provided details. Consumer protection officers urge consumers to ask about prices before making purchases, and businesses should also improve transparency and service quality to avoid misunderstandings and disputes. News highlights the well-known beauty internet celebrity Bail Shui Shui passed away due to illness on May 24, and the news shocked fans. Her close friend said that Shui Shui was seriously ill and hospitalized, and finally decided to go to another world to start a new journey, and asked the outside world to respect the family and avoid asking too much about the details. Shui Shui finally released the permanent stop video on IG, thanking fans for their support. Boyfriend Xiao Li also posted a message of nostalgia affectionately, expressing that he would continue his relationship in the next life. The family cancelled the public memorial service, emphasizing that only relatives and friends know the full picture, calling for not believing false private information, and hoping that everyone will give space and respect to the family, so that Shui Shui can leave peacefully. News highlights this revelation is quite shocking. Liu Wenwan revealed that the veteran actor and his wife have known each other for more than 30 years, and the two are childhood sweethearts, and his wife has supported him all the way to develop in the entertainment industry, but they finally separated because the man fell in love with a young internet celebrity. The actor was even revealed by a friend to leave the house, but the outside world has never learned the truth. In recent years, the man has shifted the focus of his acting career to Chinese mainland, and recently he has often appeared in Taiwan, and his identity has become the focus of the topic. News highlights when Hong Xiaoling attended the press conference of the new drama The Wheat Field of Life a few days ago. She burst into tears of regret because of the reconciliation scene in the play. She revealed that her father died of influenza complicated by pneumonia and died the next day after being sent to the hospital at the age of 67. This experience made her know how to cherish her family affection even more. Hong Xiaoling and Ai Wei play father and daughter. The play is full of emotions and the performance is profound and touching. Wheat Field of Life will be broadcast on the Great Love Channel from June 4. News highlights Little Justin Bieber, changed his image after getting married and having children, but recently caused controversy because of the public message "I love you" under the post of 17-year-old actress Ariana Greenberg. Little Justin previously generously kissed his friend Jenny Leah Weary in a nightclub, which also hurt his image. In addition, in 2022, he owed more than $700 million due to the cancellation of the tour, which was compensated by his agent, and in the same year, he sold the copyright for about $6 billion to solve the financial dilemma. News highlights: a 5th grade teacher surnamed Guo at Dazijiao Elementary School in New Taipei City has been complained by parents that she has physically assaulted students since last semester, including knocking students on the head with books, pulling students to the ground, and kicking students' desks in anger, causing students to injure them, causing students to be afraid to go to school because of their psychological fear. The Education Bureau stressed that if it is found to be true, the teacher will be dismissed at the most serious extent in accordance with the law, and positive discipline will be promoted to protect the physical and mental safety of students. The parents questioned the principal's cover-up and prepared to file a lawsuit against the teacher. News highlights: Zhang Tianlin and Hong Xiaoling have been married for 5 months and have a daughter, Zhang Xiaomei. Zhang Tianlin opened a bento shop in January this year, withdrew in April and cut off with CAITNG Catering Group, and now changes to an internet company office worker, and obtained the Green Island diving instructor license, and is expected to return to Green Island to teach in the summer. Hong Xiaoling admitted that the actor's job is not as stable as before, supported her husband to change the runway, and revealed that her mother became a backup to help take care of the children. She lamented that after becoming a mother, her concern for her children changed from a small thing to a big thing. News highlights: Associate Professor Wu Derong of Central University pointed out that the front moved south to the Base Strait today, and the weather in Taiwan improved, the temperature rose during the day, and there were local brief showers in the mountains in the afternoon. 17 to 30 degrees in the north, 18 to 33 degrees in the center, 21 to 35 degrees in the south, and 19 to 31 degrees in the east. Tomorrow night the front is approaching, the cloud cover will increase, and the probability of local rain will increase. The 4th wave of the rainy season on Thursday will bring widespread rain and severe weather risks. On the first day of the Dragon Boat Festival holiday, the front moved south, and the weather gradually improved in various places, with sunny and hot on Saturday, and localized showers in the mountains on Sunday afternoon. The temperature will be high at the beginning of next week, the rain will increase in the afternoon, and another front will hit in the middle of the week, and the weather needs to be continuously monitored. News highlights: the Dragon Boat Festival is an important traditional festival of the Chinese. In addition to commemorating Chu Yuan, it also has the meaning of driving away evil spirits and avoiding disasters. Numerologist Yang Dengcheng reminded that there are 8 major folk taboos to pay attention to during the Dragon Boat Festival. Avoid going to places with heavy yin qi such as hospitals, funeral homes, etc. Do not lose the sachet, otherwise the fortune will be affected. The elderly, children, and pregnant women should avoid going out at noon. Avoid swimming and playing in the water so as not to attract yin qi. Meat dumplings cannot be given away in whole skewers, and the thread needs to be cut. Wormwood should be hung before 3 p.m. Avoid having sex on the day of the Dragon Boat Festival to avoid injury, and do not say Happy Dragon Boat Festival, but wish health, peace, or auspiciousness. News highlights: Thailand will open the legalization of marijuana in 2022, but recently, in order to curb recreational and abuse, the Thai Ministry of Public Health announced that it will amend the regulations to require both locals and foreigners to have a medical certificate to legally use marijuana in the future, and violators will be subject to criminal penalties. Many tourists use cannabis products for the first time, but after returning to Taiwan, they face big trouble. According to Taiwan's health standards for blood donation, people who have used drugs are permanently prohibited from donating blood, which makes many netizens regret it. The Taiwan Blood Foundation had proposed to relax the ban and suspend it for 6 months, but it was not approved, and the rules remained unchanged. News highlights: 46-year-old actor Zhang Tianlin quit the side business of the joint stock bento shop without warning after the birth of his daughter, and turned to work in an internet company, and obtained a Green Island diving instructor license, planning to teach in the summer. His wife Hong Xiaoling attended a press conference and said that Zhang Tianlin believes that he is not very suitable for the entertainment industry, nor is he good at socializing, and his current actor's work is not as stable as before. News highlights: when former Western diva Britney returned to Los Angeles on a private charter flight a few days ago, she was suspected of drinking and smoking during the flight, violating Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, regulations. The crew requested that the smoke be extinguished and the competent authority should be notified in accordance with the procedures. Britney apologized on social media afterwards, but at the same time criticized the flight attendant for forcing her to wear a seatbelt during the flight, making her feel uncomfortable. The FAA has yet to issue a formal response to the incident, which has sparked debate about whether safety regulations for celebrity flights are the same. News highlights: some netizens complained that it was very troublesome to receive the cover photo of the passbook to transfer money, because the numbers were blurry and easy to enter incorrectly, so it was recommended that it was more convenient to transfer the account number directly. However, some people believe that it is safer to send photos to avoid scams because they contain information such as bank codes, branch, and account names. Another netizen recommended using the smart lens function of a smartphone to convert the text of the picture into a number to improve the recognition accuracy and reduce the transfer error. News highlights: Kaohsiung Sanmin District Male Escort Shop X Club was revealed to have hired a 16-year-old girl, and counted the arrears owed by regular customers on the girl's head, forcing her to sign a promissory note to repay the debt. The girl's father criticized the store for its vileness, questioned the failure to verify the identity in accordance with the regulations, and allowed the minor to get involved in the weathered place and go into debt. The operation model of the male model club blurs the legal boundaries and is suspected of violating the labor law and the child protection law. The police have intervened in the investigation, and if it is found to be true, it will be strictly dealt with in accordance with the relevant laws and transferred to the Municipal Labor and Social Affairs Bureau for adjudication, highlighting the urgent need to strengthen the protection of minors and the regulation of the entertainment industry. News highlights: after undergoing laser surgery for myopia, LASIK, last year, Ryan, a young police officer from Pennsylvania, USA, developed severe blurred vision and migraines, which made him unable to continue working and his life fell into a low point. The surgery clinic even refused to accept him as a patient again. After suffering from pain, Ryan chose to commit suicide in January this year, and his family accused LASIK of ruining his life. The incident has sparked concern in the United States, with former FDA officials warning that the risks of surgery are underestimated and that patients are often underinformed. LASIK practitioners emphasize the safety of the procedure, but the FDA reminds physicians to be fully informed of all risks. News highlights: the FBI cracked the stealth market of the dark web drug trading platform, and the operator was Lin Ruijin, a senior student of the Asset Management Department of National Taiwan University. Since 2020, Lin Nan has established a platform that uses cryptocurrencies to broker the global drug trade, and has illegally obtained more than $100 million, about $3 billion, over the past 3 years. Taiwan's prosecutors have seized more than 200 million yuan of his luxury homes, bank accounts, and virtual currency assets. Lin Nan reached an agreement with the U.S. side this year to reveal the information of the accomplices, and the New York court postponed the sentence until September. The platform operates in an e-commerce model, providing anonymous transactions, customer service, and compensation mechanisms, attracting 200,000 users and more than 1,000 sellers, becoming a world-renowned dark web drug marketplace. News highlights: the re-election of the president of the National Kaohsiung University of Hospitality and Tourism sparked controversy, and the candidate and vice president Li Yumin was revealed to have lied about the Doctor of Hospitality and Tourism degree of Pili University in the United Kingdom for many years, but the president's election committee did not ask him to provide a foreign academic certificate, which was questioned and escorted, causing dissatisfaction within the university. At the same time, the case of Professor Yang surnamed Yang in the school involved in fraudulent hourly fees and plagiarism was also lightly released, and the campus turmoil continued. Li Yumin has a close relationship with the current president, Chen Dunji, and is regarded as Chen's supporter, and the selection result has affected factional wrestling within the school. The selection of the president will be voted on in the near future, and the candidates who pass will go to the final deliberations. News highlights: a man surnamed Yan in Tainan was suspected of having a seizure and drove out of control, hitting and killing the man surnamed Zhang and seriously injuring his wife. Zhang Jiayu has a 27-year-old autistic child, Yang Ren, whose parents moved from Taichung to Tainan in order to let him participate in the non-Aiying Chinese orchestra. His father recorded a video of Yang Ren's piano practice every day, which unexpectedly became the final record. Zhang's father passed away, his mother was still being treated, and Yang was left to the care of his elderly grandmother. The head of the non-Aiying Chinese orchestra called on the community to lend a helping hand and set up a donation to help families tide over the difficulties. Yan has been transferred to justice for the crime of causing death by negligence. News highlights: a man in Brazil drank 3 liters of cola a day, causing 35 huge stones to form in his bladder. Urologist L. Eugene pointed out that the phosphoric acid in cola can promote the increase of urinary calcium and acidify urine, increasing the risk of kidney stones. In addition, sugar-sweetened beverages stimulate insulin secretion, affect renal calcium reabsorption, and increase urinary calcium concentration. Studies have shown that the recurrence rate of kidney stones decreases significantly after stopping drinking Coke. It is recommended that the public drink carbonated beverages containing phosphate in moderation, especially for high-risk groups, to reduce the risk of stone formation and recurrence. News highlights: Shen Qingjing, chairman of Wujing Group, was involved in bribing former People's Party chairman K. Wenz, and was accused of leading its Sinopec subsidiary Dingyu to bid for the land of Jinghua City Shopping Center, an affiliated company, at a price of more than 3 billion yuan, suspected of changing his left hand for his right hand and misappropriating part of the money to settle private debts. The Taipei District Prosecutor's Office directed the Investigation Bureau to launch a search, interviewing a total of 22 senior executives from Sinopec and Dingyu, many of whom were released on bail and restricted from leaving the country. The original price of the land in Jinghua City was 38 billion yuan, and the bidding failed 3 times, and finally Dingyu won the bid with 37.2 billion yuan, but the capital was only 100 million, and Sinopec participated in the capital increase. The investigation found that the capital reduction money flowed to the Hong Kong company suspected of being involved in private debts, and the case was investigated for violating the Securities and Exchange Law and special breach of trust, and Shen Qingjing has not yet been arraigned. News highlights: the Legislative Yuan will pass the 3rd reading of the amendment to the Social Security Law, raising the fine for the purchase of transportation and amusement tickets for resale for profit from 18,000 yuan to less than 30,000 yuan. Fines for noise and stalking disturbing the public have also been increased substantially. For the issue of ticket scalpers such as medical treatment, catering, travel, food and lodging, etc., the attached resolution requires the relevant competent authorities to study and amend the law within 2 months, and take a two-pronged approach to manage and investigate and deal with them from the source, so as to curb scalping behavior. The Ministry of the Interior stressed that it will strengthen prevention and control in accordance with the principle of attribution of responsibility and in line with the current special law on the cultural and sports industry. News highlights asset concept stocks diverged on the 27th, and the long and short sides faced off fiercely. Under the leadership of Taiwan Fire, 9,902, many parties benefited from the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar, and the price limit in early trading drove asset stocks such as Shinshin, 2,901, Nanfang, 1,440, Agriculture and Forestry, 2,913, and Far Eastern New, 1,402, to resist the decline and rise. On the other hand, the bears were affected by the negative impact of the Taiwan headquarters of NVIDIA, and the Echelon 3 treasures such as Shishi Paper, 1903, Xinfang, 1,419, and Shidian, 1,503, fell hard, dragging down asset stocks such as Zongfu, New Fiber, Sinopec, and Taiwan Fertilizer. The NTD continued to appreciate to $29.847, pushing up asset stocks. News highlights: due to insufficient production capacity, Japan's Asahi KCI plans to cut off the supply of photosensitive polyamide, PSPI, a key consumable for advanced packaging, to some customers, causing the semiconductor industry to worry about the disconnection of the AI chip packaging supply chain. PSPI plays a key role in wafer-level packaging and is widely used in component protection and multi-layer routing processes, and there is no complete replacement material. The AI boom has pushed up the demand for advanced packaging, and major manufacturers such as TSMC, ASE Investment Control, and Enolix have been affected, especially the layout of ASE Investment Control may be blocked. TSMC is reported to be given priority supply, but the overall capacity bottleneck in the industry is still worrying. News highlights: Moody's downgraded the U.S. sovereign credit rating from AAA to AA1, leading to weak demand for long-term Treasury bonds, coupled with the passage of Trump's tax cut bill and strong economic data in May. U.S. Treasury interest rates rose, bond ETFs generally fell, and long-day U.S. Treasury ETFs fell the most. However, investors bought the dip, and the number of bond ETF holders increased against the trend. Experts pointed out that the short-term volatility stems from the fact that tax cuts may exacerbate the U.S. debt deficit, but the cycle of interest rate cuts continues, and the long-term optimism is about the investment value of U.S. bonds. It is recommended that investors can deploy in batches, and the shorter the duration of the bond, the higher the credit rating, the lower the risk and the more stable the return. News highlights: Citi Securities' latest report is optimistic about Taiwan's semiconductor industry, reiterating the buy rating of TSMC, Mediatek, and ASE Group, with target prices of 1,100 yuan, 1,600 yuan, and 162 yuan respectively. TSMC continues to promote the 2nm process in CoWoS advanced packaging, and is expected to achieve a compound annual growth rate of 20% in revenue. Although Mediatek is facing the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar and economic uncertainties, it still has the potential for revenue growth due to the penetration of 5G and new AI services. ASE is optimistic about the rebound in demand for advanced packaging and testing, maintaining the capital expenditure plan, and maintaining stable long-term growth. News highlights: asset concept stocks showed a clear divergence trend on the 27th, led by Taiwo, 9,902, benefiting from the appreciation of the new Taiwan dollar, and the daily limit in early trading drove Shinshin, 2,901, Nanfang, 1,440, Agriculture and Forestry, 2,913, Far Eastern New, 1,402, and other asset stocks to resist the decline and rise. On the other hand, the bears were affected by the news that NVIDIA's Taiwan headquarters was stuck, and Chilinsan Base Paper, 1903, Xinfang, 1,419, and Shidian, 1,503, fell sharply, dragging down related stocks to weaken. The superficial rights of Huida headquarters cannot be directly transferred due to the deadlock in the contract, and the city government emphasizes that it will be handled in accordance with the law, and the negotiation between the two parties is still unclear. The Taiwan dollar continued to appreciate and broke through the 30 yuan mark, encouraging asset groups to buy and becoming the focus of the market. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump, dissatisfied with the slow progress of the Russia-Ukraine negotiations and Putin's continued attacks on Ukraine, is considering new sanctions against Russia this week, but they may not include banking sanctions, or may even not be implemented. Trump is disgusted with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, believing that he supports a ceasefire but promotes sanctions and exacerbates the conflict. He is also worried that the sanctions will damage US-Russian relations, and he thinks he knows Putin. If there is no breakthrough in the peace talks, Trump may withdraw from mediation altogether, adding uncertainty to US-Russia relations and the situation in Ukraine. News highlights in 2024, the number of new housing loans in Taiwan will reach 226,000, an annual increase of nearly 40,000, a 16-year high, and bank housing loans are close to the full water level. Among the 6 capitals, Taichung's Baitun district had the highest number of approved loans in the whole year, reaching 7,898, mainly due to the wave of housing delivery in emerging development zones such as the 14th phase of rezoning and the Jijia Terminal Special Zone. The nuclear loan hot areas in northern Taiwan are concentrated in New Taipei and Dawin, and Bangqiao district has the highest mortgage pressure, with an average loan of more than 10 million yuan. Dawin and New Taipei have become hotspots for first-time buyers and home changers due to their relatively affordable housing prices. Due to the overall market constraints on lending policies and economic uncertainty, the number of loans approved in 2024 is expected to decrease compared with last year. News highlights as economic and geopolitical uncertainty intensifies, more and more super wealthy people are moving physical gold overseas, making Singapore a popular place to store gold. In the first 4 months of this year, gold and silver storage orders for Singapore's precious metals repository surged by 88% compared to the same period last year, and sales increased by 200%. The wealthy prefer physical gold as a hedge because they don't trust the banking system and paper gold risks. Regarded as the Geneva of the East, Singapore is politically and economically stable and easily accessible, attracting high net worth clients from all over the world and becoming a safe and important hub for wealth protection. News highlights on the evening of the 26th. A 34-year-old man surnamed Zhang was drunk and agitated in front of the Red Altar at number 711 Zhonggang Road, Xinzhuang District, New Taipei City, and was suspected of being pushed and dissatisfied, and suddenly shouted loudly and waved his fist, and a man in white kindly stepped forward to dissuade him. The police at the scene quickly intervened, separated the two parties, and let the two leave after confirming that there were no serious disputes. The police appealed to believers to communicate rationally and avoid physical confrontations, and stressed that they would strictly enforce the law to maintain safety. News highlights Rustic Crust, an American firewood pizza brand, announced the closure of its production plant in Pittsfield, New Hampshire, and the start of a Chapter 11 auction proceeding, leaving dozens of employees unemployed. The owner of the factory was withdrawn by the private equity fund, and although the two private equity firms had intended to take over, it was ultimately rejected by local and national lenders. On May 22, the factory assets were auctioned at a starting price of $1.375 million, and the brand name and intellectual property rights were not included. The plant equipment is advanced, and it has supplied a number of large American channels, but the brand has not been merged into the transaction, and the future operation is uncertain. News highlights a man from northeastern China in Chi set up a stall selling explosives and hung a sign at the door asking customers not to speak Taiwanese, sparking a two-sided debate. The boss apologized afterwards, saying that because he couldn't understand Taiwanese and was afraid of misunderstanding in communication, he had no intention of offending the local culture, and that he would replace the sign and close the store for renovation from the 27th. Some people think this is a reasonable reminder, and some netizens are dissatisfied that they do not respect Taiwan. The neighbor said that the boss would take a few days off and reopen after the signboard was changed. News highlights the well-known language cram school Global Village recently broke out in a financial crisis, and the person in charge, Chen Honggai, suspected that he had not repaid the arrears, and owed more than 20 employees 2 months' salaries, accumulating more than 1 million yuan. The Taipei City Labor Bureau confirmed that there had been a labor complaint, and conducted a labor inspection on May 22, preliminarily confirming that wages were late and would be fined in accordance with the Labor Standards Act. Another female dentist was accused of being beaten by a patient, and the female doctor said the incident was related to Chen Honggai's debt dispute. The person in charge of the cram school was exposed to selective paying, giving priority to the payment of working students and teachers, while the administrative staff did not receive salaries, causing dissatisfaction. News highlights Zhang Yuanxiang, the former director of the Keelung City Civil Affairs Department, was detained by the Keelung District Prosecutor's Office on suspicion of improperly using the information of the government system to assist in the recall, and recently a Kuomintang party worker was detained, causing controversy. Keelung Mayor Xie Kuliang publicly bowed and apologized for the first time in the general question of the city council on the 27th, admitting that the city government was not properly supervised, and emphasizing that Zhang Yuanxiang's behavior was very undeserved. Se Kuoklung said that the director of the Household Administration Office involved in the case has been handed over bail and has left his post one after another, and will review and improve the incident to rebuild public confidence. DPP lawmaker Cheng Wenting affirmed her apology and hoped that the mistakes of the past would not be repeated in the future. News highlights South Korean girl group Blackpink will perform their Deadline World Tour at Kaohsiung National Stadium on October 18 and 19, marking their second concert in 2023. The organizer Live Nation Taiwan announced the ticket sales schedule, including the pre-purchase of Weverse members on June 10 and the two-stage pre-sale of Visa cards on June 11, and the general ticket sales will officially start on June 12. The ticket price and seat map have not yet been announced, and fans can participate in ticket grabbing in order. News highlights: the currency war triggered by U.S. President Donald Trump has exacerbated the turmoil in the global foreign exchange market, and the U.S. Treasury yield has continued to exceed 5%, shaking the status of safe haven assets. Investors are concerned about the huge fiscal deficit and the continued issuance of bonds in the United States, which has damaged confidence and sold a large number of long-term U.S. bonds. Experts recommend paying attention to three indicators: CPI, Consumer Price Index, 10-year Treasury yields, and VIX, Fear Index, to keep a pulse on the market. In the face of complexity, diversifying into short-term bonds, equity ETFs, and cash, and acting in accordance with data discipline, is more likely to avoid evil than chasing political rhetoric. News highlights: Sinopec's Dingyo Development's purchase of land in Jinghua City was suspected of violating the Securities and Exchange Law, and the Beijing Inspection Bureau directed the Investigation Bureau to conduct a search and interview, including Sinopec Chairman Chen Rulong, former Chairman Lin Keming, and many others were required to pay bail, ranging from 400,000 to 5 million yuan. In 2019, the land of Jinghua City was awarded by Dingyo Development for 37.2 billion yuan, setting a record for the highest bid for commercial real estate in China. The investigation suspects that the transaction involves irregularities and breach of trust, and Sinopec has indicated that it will fully cooperate and that its operation and financial situation are normal. News highlights: according to Xinhua News Agency, the Tianhe District branch of the Guangzhou Municipal Public Security Bureau revealed on the 27th that a technology company in Guangzhou was attacked by a Taiwanese hacker group supported by the Democratic Progressive Party. In recent years, the organization has used an open network asset detection platform to conduct intelligence collection and multiple rounds of attacks on more than 1,000 important systems in more than 10 provinces on the mainland, including key areas such as military industry and energy. Technical analysis pointed out that the hack's methods were simple, the Trojan was poorly programmed, and it was repeatedly discovered by the land monitoring system. Although hackers use multinational IPS and VPNs to disguise their origins, the police have locked down their movements and have evidence of crimes. News highlights: Lin Ruijin, a 23-year-old diplomatic substitute man, graduated from the Department of Asset Management of National Taiwan University, was arrested at the Kennedy Airport in the United States on May 18 last year, suspected of setting up a global drug trafficking platform on the dark web, with a monthly revenue of up to $5 million, about $160 million. In the letter, Lin Ruijin confessed to his mother that he had taken the wrong path, and he wanted to use a shortcut to let his family live a good life, and asked his family to rest assured that he would go home safely. He was bright since he was a child, and his mother supported him and his younger brother alone, and both of them were admitted to National Taiwan University. Lin Ruijin faces at least life imprisonment, and the case has aroused social concern. News highlights: on July 25, the Liaoning squadron of the Continental aircraft carrier was taken over by the Japanese Defense Agency in the waters about 200 kilometers north of Cuba Island, carried out carrier-based aircraft takeoff and landing operations, and sailed for the western Pacific Ocean off the east coast of Taiwan. The military has determined that the Liaoning may carry out takeoff and landing and joint military exercises in the eastern waters during the Dragon Boat Festival to cooperate with the long-distance voyage of the common aircraft to intrude. It is rare for the formation to not carry a large integrated supply ship, and it is speculated to be a rapid combat exercise to test our Army's response capability. Taiwan and Japan closely monitored the movements of the Liaoning ship, and the defense departments were on standby to prevent the Chinese communists from relaxing their vigilance caused by military exercises. News highlights: Yu Wenzheng, a 78-year-old man in the Three Gorges, ran a red light at high speed, causing 3 deaths and 12 injuries. A fake account claiming to be Yu Wenzhen's daughter appeared on the internet and issued a clarification, but it was revealed that Yu only had 2 sons, and the account was suspected of being a fake account that stole other people's photos, intending to hype up traffic. The police said that they could not verify their identity, and local people also confirmed that the account was not a relative, and netizens criticized the tragedy of fake account consumption and called on not to believe online rumors. News highlights: a bride accused DPP members of uninvited attending a wedding on Threads, forcibly toasting, stealing the scene, and putting flower baskets, ruining the best moment of her life, and the post went viral and received millions of views. The groom's family countered that the politician was invited by the elders and not an uninvited guest, and pointed out that the woman had not responded to the communication messages many times. Relatives and friends criticized the bride for making false accusations, and the man's politicians only congratulated him and did not talk about politics. This incident sparked heated discussions among netizens, and both internet celebrities and lawyers criticized the woman for overreacting, and suggested not to linger on the details. News highlights: on the 25th, a 24-year-old woman surnamed Xie escaped while riding a bicycle and refused to check and escaped. Xie's mother and uncle questioned the police chasing the car too closely, and thought that they should not pursue it and reported it directly, and planned to file a lawsuit. Police stressed keeping a safe distance at all times and made the footage public. The family refused to access the communication records of Xiaonu's mobile phone, saying that the password could not be opened. The police investigation found that the Xia woman's home was about 20 minutes away from the scene of the crime, and her whereabouts were unknown. News highlights Lin Ruijin, a graduate of the Department of Asset Management of National Taiwan University, is suspected of creating a drug trading platform on the dark web to stealth the market, and has made illegal profits of more than $100 million, about $3 billion, in 3 years. He operates under the pseudonym Pharaoh King, and the platform attracts 200,000 members and takes a 5% commission from transactions. Lin Ruijin was arrested by the FBI in the United States in May last year, during which he purchased a 60 million mansion in Taipei, with assets of more than 200 million yuan. Recently, it was rumored that he reached a plea negotiation with the U.S. Department of Justice to confess his accomplices, and the New York court extended the sentencing until September, and if the agreement is successful, he may be exempted from life in prison. News highlights the Dragon Boat Festival, May 31st, is a national holiday, and the Ministry of Labor reminds employers that if they obtain the consent of workers to attend, they must pay an additional day's wages in addition to their normal wages. If you work more than 8 hours, you will be charged overtime separately. May 30th is a rest day, and attendees shall be paid overtime pay in accordance with regulations. June 1st is an example holiday, except in special circumstances, no attendance is allowed, and if attendance, the salary will be doubled and overtime pay will be calculated. The Labor Department emphasizes that employers must obtain the consent of workers in advance, and reminds workers to pay attention to their rights and interests, and can seek help from the competent authorities in case of labor disputes. News highlights Forever 21, a well-known American fast fashion brand, announced that it has filed for bankruptcy with a debt of $1.58 billion, about $48 billion, and will close 354 stores in the United States and lay off more than 700 employees. Founded in 1984 with peak revenues of $4.4 billion, the brand has been present in 48 countries, entered Taiwan in 2015 but withdrew in 2019 due to operational difficulties. Although it is rumored that the closure of stores will be suspended if an investor takes over, there are no buyers yet, and the fast fashion empire may come to an end. News highlights the Dragon Boat Festival holiday is approaching, and the Meteorological Powder Special Taiwan Typhoon Forum pointed out that there will be a complete plum rain front passing on Thursday, 30th, and heavy rainfall and lightning strikes may occur in the north and central regions, but the front is mobile, and the weather will stabilize quickly. The front has moved southward since Friday, and the weather has gradually cleared. The Dragon Boat Festival holiday, May 31st to June 1st, is cloudy to sunny in Taiwan, warm during the day, comfortable in the morning and evening, suitable for travel. News highlights in the demolition controversy in Wufeng, Taichung, a woman surnamed Lin accused the builder of demolishing her mother's house without consultation, saying that when she went out to buy groceries and came home, she found that the entire house had been razed to the ground, and she denounced that there was nowhere to commemorate her mother. The builder clarified that a compensation agreement had been signed with the tenants, that the demolition was legal, and that the forest woman did not usually live there. The forest woman refuted that the compensation was received privately by her brother and daughter-in-law, and she was the only heir, and she did not know about the whole incident, and her brother and daughter-in-law also lost contact afterwards. The two sides have different arguments, and the dispute may be resolved by resorting to judicial solutions. News highlights Li Junli, Secretary General of the Supervisory Yuan, was suspected of abusing an official car, and on the anniversary of the inauguration of the president in 520, he used an official car to transport his dog to a pet grooming salon, accompanied by suspected staff members. Although 96% of the budget of the Supervision Yuan has been deleted, and the fuel money for official vehicles needs to be paid by themselves, the whistleblower questioned the improper use of public equipment for private purposes, pointing out that some supervision committees also have similar behaviors, such as picking up and dropping off family members from work, purchasing on behalf of others, etc., causing disputes over the legitimacy of the use of administrative resources. News highlights public security in Guangzhou, China, alleged that a local technology company had been hacked and traced back to the source of the hacking of a hacker group linked to Taiwan's Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, authorities. Officials said the group had carried out phishing emails and Trojan horse attacks against important systems in many provinces in China, and criticized Taiwan's hackers for their low level of technology, crude methods, and easy to track. The case has been escalated and further investigation will follow. News highlights the man surnamed Wu in Tainan was dissatisfied with the alleged harassment of female rights by the owner of the etiquette company surnamed Chen, and clashed with the other party when he attended the public sacrifice on the 8th. The police arrested 2 accomplices afterwards. Wu Nan voluntarily surrendered on the 23rd, and the prosecution's call for custody was approved, and the whole case is still under investigation. News highlights the resurgence of the new crown epidemic in China is mainly due to the NB.1.8.1 variant with high immune escapability, coupled with the low vaccination rate and the continuous mutation of the virus, the number of cases may exceed 100,000 in a single week. Symptoms are similar to those of the flu, but COVID is often accompanied by a severe sore throat. The CDC reminds high-risk groups such as the elderly over 65 years old to get vaccinated with the JN.1 vaccine as soon as possible, and has coordinated the increase in the production of rapid screening reagents and the replenishment of access channels to strengthen epidemic prevention. News highlights: May Day drummer Guan Yu's eldest daughter Lu Xinyu, Little Rose, recently shared beautiful photos of playing Universal Studios in the community, and posted a photo of traveling with her father in her childhood, which caused heated discussions among netizens. She dresses simply and fashionably, showing a youthful atmosphere, and is full of father-daughter love. Many fans praised from small beauty to adulthood, and also exclaimed that even the hairstyle has not changed for Guan Yu's frozen appearance, and the interaction and appearance of the father and daughter have become the focus. News highlights: After Jia Yongzhe, chairman of Taipei 101, went to the United States to serve as the kickoff guest of Taiwan Day in New York, she returned to Taiwan to prepare to participate in the women's water polo match of tomorrow's World Games, and posted her player card to share her feelings about the competition. Netizens found that the name on the certificate was Jia Yongni, and questioned the typo, and she personally clarified that it was the correct character of the identity card. In the face of challenges, she laughed at herself. How can you be worthy of yourself if you are not crazy in life? Showing full of action and humor, which aroused enthusiastic cheers from fans. News highlights: The recent rise of the NT dollar above the $30 mark has had an impact on export-oriented industries, and machine tool manufacturers are worried about a significant reduction in competitiveness, which may trigger a wave of layoffs. Industry elders pointed out that the strong Taiwan dollar has led to the loss of orders and the pressure on gross profits, and they have called on the government to intervene. However, the news sparked heated discussions among netizens, most of whom criticized the industry for not avoiding risks and only making profits, and some pointed out that the Taiwan dollar did not rise against the US dollar, but appreciated against the currencies of many countries, which did impact the industry, and the situation should not be underestimated. News highlights: Global Views magazine announced the 2025 County Mayor Governance Satisfaction Survey. Kaohsiung Mayor Chen Kamai ranked first in the 6 capitals with 73% satisfaction, and was the only mayor of the 6 capitals to receive a 5-star evaluation. Qi County Mayor Wang Zhongliang topped the country with 83.7%. Taipei Mayor Zhang Wanan got rid of the bottom of the 6 capitals and was taken over by Daowen Mayor Zhang Shanzheng. The most improved performance was Keelung Mayor Xie Kualiang, with a sharp increase of 19 percentage points. The most regressive is Hualien County Mayor Su Jinwei. The survey also pointed out that Qi County performed well in the fields of transportation and economy, while Kaohsiung City won the first place in the tourism category. News highlights: Taiwanese man Lin Ruijin was arrested by the United States for drug trafficking through the dark web, and cooperated with Taiwan's prosecutors to investigate, and he used the proceeds of drug trafficking to purchase real estate and cash with a market value of more than 200 million yuan, including a 60 million yuan mansion on Dihang East Road in Taipei City. The investigation seized cash, encrypted flash drives and virtual currency assets in the safe deposit box of his bank, with a preliminary estimated market value of more than $86 million. Lin acted extremely secretively, and some of the pen drives were hidden at the bottom of the safe, suspected of hiding the secret of the virtual currency cold wallet, and the investigation was trying his best to decrypt it. News highlights: Since the closure of Taichung Shinkong Mitsukoshi since the gas explosion incident, it was expected to resume business in June, but there has been no follow-up, affecting 833 counters and nearly 4,000 employees in the museum. Many manufacturers are facing inventory pressure and cash flow disruption, uncertain operation, and life and death. Employee income has shrunk significantly, life is in trouble, and some of them have to cross counties and cities to support, becoming nomads. Businesses and employees hope that the government and Shinkong will face up to the resumption of business and not delay any longer, emphasizing that one person is a family and calling for people's livelihood to be the priority. News highlights: Chen's Honggai, the person in charge of the well-known language cram school Global Village, was accused of owing 15 million yuan in loans to female dentists, delaying the payment of salaries to more than 20 employees, and accumulating more than 1 million yuan in arrears. A female dentist was recently subjected to violence by a patient, suspected to be related to a debt dispute. The Labor Bureau confirmed that the employee had complained and completed the labor inspection, and the initial judgment was indeed that the wages were paid late, and the penalty would be imposed in accordance with the labor standards law. Employees who are dissatisfied with the selective payroll have left their jobs or turned to the government for help. News highlights: Taiwanese man Lin Ruijin was arrested by the United States for drug trafficking through the dark web, and cooperated with Taiwan's prosecutors to investigate, and he used the proceeds of drug trafficking to purchase real estate and cash with a market value of more than 200 million yuan, including a 60 million yuan mansion on Dihang East Road in Taipei City. The investigation seized cash, encrypted flash drives and virtual currency assets in the safe deposit box of his bank, with a preliminary estimated market value of more than $86 million. Lin acted extremely secretively, and some of the pen drives were hidden at the bottom of the safe, suspected of hiding the secret of the virtual currency cold wallet, and the investigation was trying his best to decrypt it. News highlights Dr. Liao Kaiding, a hematology oncologist at Lingkao Chonggung, pointed out that many cancers are related to wrong money-saving habits, such as long-term consumption of overnight dishes and turning off range hoods to save electricity, which may lead to gastrointestinal or respiratory cancers. He once treated a family of 3 who suffered from gastrointestinal cancer due to eating leftovers, and reminded the public not to neglect their health in order to save money, as wrong eating habits may lead to serious illnesses. News highlights the southwest monsoon is expected to establish over the South China Sea on 28 to 29 May and will not affect Taiwan for a long time, but will bring more intense rainfall. The Bureau of Meteorology pointed out that the front turned into thunderstorms near the lower western half, and the weather was unstable on Thursday, and the western half and northeast should be protected against localized heavy rain. The northeast monsoon strengthens after the front passes, and the temperature drops. Rain will continue to fall in the south and mountainous areas from Friday, and the rain will slow down in other areas. News highlights: a netizen shared that the bank teller asked Abo about the use of the 3.5 million yuan decoration money, but the other party was dissatisfied and complained that the money is mine and I still ask so much. However, netizens strongly supported the bankers, pointing out that the bank must check the reason for receiving the huge amount of money in order to prevent fraud, and bluntly said that if you don't ask about the accident, you blame the bank, and even questioned how the decoration could receive cash and refuse to remit money at one time, suspecting that Abel was afraid of being defrauded.